Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it's number 52, man. It's a year, bro. It's a year. It's a year. Hold on for a second. Hey, this is our 52nd episode of Tales from a Gemini. Thank you guys for watching. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Man, this has been a passion. It's a project of passion, it really has. It was just me and Wyatt. Me and Wyatt, or YY. I call him YY now. That sounds weird, but I call you YY now. Just in case it sounds racial, I call you YY now. Just in case you get mad at Wyatt, I call you Wyatt now. But honestly, it's been a year of me and Wyatt together, man, on this project, not knowing where I was going with it, and I was trying to feel it out, and Wyatt stuck with me, and now we got Malik. But it was me and Wyatt in the beginning. So it's great, man. It's a passion. And in the beginning of this passion, hey, how you guys doing? How you doing, family? You guys good? Hey, little fella. All right, well, just forget. And they just walked out like they didn't hear me. They walked like you saw me construction work. I was trying to be nice to them, and they saw me. Anyway, so anyway, in the beginning, I interviewed my buddy, Bradley Smith. I always call him my son, Bradley Smith. Love this guy. Love this kid. MotoGP rider. We've just been friends. I mean, I basically harassed this guy in a MotoGP race, and we've been friends ever since. And he was one of in the beginning, I interviewed him, and I got the most hits on that, didn't I? The most downloads from talking to him. And I try to, let him be. But, in that year, it's amazing what has happened in his life and in my life, how this has taken off. And how I simply love this. Like I said, thank you, fans. I appreciate it. And in his life, so I want to know what's going on with him because we haven't really talked that much. I mean, he was a Aprilia test rider. And Bradley, so let me tell you about Bradley Smith, man, before people pass him off. Bradley Smith, he won the 8-hour Suzuka race. He was I think the only rider ever to podium in all 4 classes of MotoGP, from 125, which is now Moto 3, Moto 2, MotoGP, and Moto E. Mixed Supercross fan. Bradley's done it all, man. I could read off a who's who of what he's done, but his 9 podium finishes in 2009 is the highest number of podiums by a British rider across all solo classes since Phil Reed in 1975, man. So, hey, let's just get right to it. Let's just talk to Bradley. Did you send him a link, Malik?
No, I forgot to send it to him.
You know what, Malik? I'm seriously, this it's not professional, bro. And I'm gonna talk to Wyatt about it. Wyatt, why you know what to do? There you go. So I'm telling him to click it.
He's here.
He's here. All right, let's go. Here he is.
How we doing?
What's up, little big league? How you doing?
I am doing just fine. I know exactly who you've been speaking to already.
Man, he hit me up on the way to Dunkin' Donuts. I was gonna get my avocado toast. He made fun of me for getting avocado toast at Dunkin' Donuts, but I told him I don't eat that shit because mentally I'm a MotoGP rider like yourself. So I was gonna get avocado toast at Dunkin'. He goes, and I go, well, let me ask him a question. He goes, yeah, just tell him hi, little big league, and he'll know who it's from. So hey, little big league.
You must be the only person, though, that goes to Dunkin' Donuts and orders avocado on toast.
That's exactly what he said. But you know me, man. I want to be a MotoGP rider, but I mean, I never mentally, put limitations on myself. But let's be honest. So I can at least eat like one. So I have avocado toast from Dunkin' Donuts, no donuts, and I try to keep it as healthy as possible because I still want to be you guys.
Well, I don't understand it. You want to be a MotoGP rider, but you can't break the 22s at your local K1 karting. I just don't understand.
You ain't got to throw shade like that, man. Hurt my feelings, man. You ain't got to throw shade like. You know what? I do blame it on the weight gain. I really do. I go because I'm doing everything right. I'm hitting the lines right or whatever. And honestly, I swear, you think you know me, so you know how dorky I am. But I literally go, okay, it's time to get a hot lap in. Trying to get a banker lap. So I wait and I follow the fastest guy. I try to get a toe. I talk like I'm racing MotoGP. I try to get a toe, and I do get the fastest lap, but I can't get to 22. So I'm blaming it on the weight gain. So I'm gonna start eating avocado toast, and hopefully that will get me in my 22s.
I just like the confidence. I'm just doing everything right. I'm doing absolutely nothing wrong. I'm the best, but the lap time's not coming. BT, it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. I'm sorry.
I'm taking my cues from you guys. I'm doing all I can. I'm getting the toes. I don't know what it is. I think it's the cart. We're trying different setups, so we'll see.
Come back tomorrow.
Exactly, man. How you doing, brother? I have not. It's been a while. Like it's been a. I was telling the guy, this is the matter of fact, it's the anniversary, my 52nd episode, and thank you so much for doing this 52nd episode. And it's so fitting because a year it should be a special episode. So it's with you, which way it should be, man. We had more downloads from you, and I thought, why not come back to where it all started pretty much, man. I didn't know what I was doing. And I said, well, let me hit my buddy up and see if he'll do it. So it's great to have you back. But man, where you been for this especially this season? What's been going on?
Well, first and foremost, then happy first birthday, and to Wyatt as well. Fair play. I don't know how he deals with you on a straight basis. So, but oh man, yeah, to start off this season, what have I been up to? Just been busy, and I kind of been waiting for a call up, because the Aprilia thing still isn't dead in the water, but I think that probably needs another couple of months before that starts to roll and get going. So been working on a few projects, with Claudio Corti. We're working on a little bit of a race team and a bit of on the coaching side, and also a couple of other things, that I've had interest in for a number of years, but just never really play on them because I've just been so busy, with the racing side. So,
what kind of things? What kind of things?
Well, there's some bits and pieces that I want to continue to expand on and get into. I can't say too much at the moment because I'm on a non-disclosure. So hopefully we can make it happen, and if that happens, then it will change the way that potentially we look at talent in motorsport, and that's pretty exciting. So yeah, basically I'm working on that. That's as much as I can say, but it's all part of the school. It's all part of the nurturing and finding talent. It's all one big package that I'm trying to put together, and coming at it from a couple of different ways, because I don't think you could never hit something with one bullet. So firing with 3 or 4, and but yeah, basically trying to give back. I think that's the main thing, and I'm certainly feeling that I'm getting some positivity from all of that. I'm enjoying that side of it, and it gives me something to focus on, that rather than being bitchy and sitting on the sofa and complaining that I'm not racing.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and if anybody knows about shooting more with one bullet, it's Americans. That's one thing we are good at, and that's shooting guns and with more than one bullet. So that's one thing we're good at. But I ask you that, like, what made you think that way? Because, like you said, I mean, I want to get so much thing I want to get into, but if I can do, I guess one thing, it's the Aprilia thing, and I was thinking this. And you can stop me if you want to or not answer the question, but I got to, because it's there. Okay, last year, I'm going to say it right now, at least from my point of view, it was a shit show from my point of view. From my point of view, because I looked at it like, what I heard Sam Lowe's in a podcast, what he said, and how it was there. And, Leish was great to him. He said Leish was great, but the rest of it, he was glad to be gone. And then, so, it was with you and Salvadori, and I was like, what are they doing? And, you said everything that you had to say that was positive, and, you didn't burn any bridges in the interviews. You said everything right, being the professional that you are. But from the outside looking in, I was like, this is a shit show. And now that they got their shit together, and now that they're the girl that goes in and gets the augmented surgery, they got the boobs, they got the hair done, they got the teeth done, and like the nails, like, oh my God, what's up, Aprilia? Hey boys. And now they go in and get Dovey and bring him in like he's king shit. No offense to him at all, but you're the one that did the donkey work. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're the one that tested. You're the one that did everything last year, going through all that, test riding and racing the same weekend, which is very difficult to do. You did all that, and now they're going, hey, Dovey, come up. When it was all you, correct me if I'm wrong, was it all you or was it not? That the bike is where it's at now.
I mean, it's always a team thing, right? And I'm certainly not going to take all the credit, but there was only 2 guys inside of that race team that actually put any input, from the riding side, and we have we had a tremendous amount of engineers behind us. And I think the simple thing is, BT, that project is never secure. I think that Piaggio are never fully convinced on MotoGP. Aprilia are obviously pushing that very hard, but Piaggio need convincing almost every year that it's the right thing to do. And it's a lot of money spending budgets to go racing inside of MotoGP. And if they don't see the results, if they don't have marketing interest, if they don't have the good press and PR and so on and so forth, they have to keep asking themselves that question. Why are we doing this? All manufacturers are signed up now to this new MotoGP extension until 2026, except for Aprilia, because we still, I say we, it's they, but I still feel that I'm a part of the project, even if I'm not. They're still not 100% sure, and I think more than anything, this isn't personal attack on me. Yeah. It's Massimo Rivola and the Aprilia family trying to position themselves so that the project still continues to run for years to come. And that obviously they would like that I am part of the project for years to come, as especially as a test rider, and to continue to have my input there. But if they don't get the right riders and they don't convince the bosses that they need to spend their money, then there's no project for any of us to run. So it was a weird decision on the whole Savadori thing. I'm still not entirely sure how that came together, but it was Fausto Grassini's rider, and if that was his wishes, how can you begrudge the man?
Yeah. Well, I look at that as, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's an Italian team. So naturally, yeah, they would want an Italian rider. I mean, it's almost like Ducati, I mean, I get it. I get that part of it, but I just feel that they didn't give you, this is me, and maybe it's a personal thing because I know you, and I just feel like, and this is me, you don't have to, go along with it, but I just looked at it like, man, they kind of screwed him out. But you're still part of the party, but I just feel like they kind of screwed you out of it, I thought. And no offense to Salvador at all. No offense to him. I mean, he's living the dream, basically. He got the call up. So, you can't get mad at him. Of course, you're going to take that. But it's like, I feel that they're where they're at now with the Lays finishing in the top sixes and qualifying very well and doing very well on the bike. I just feel that's you. I mean, they're courting Dovey. But that's all you, man, and you can, be as demure about this as you want to, and I'll do the talking for you. I just feel that you did that donkey work. You were the one that did all that work, and no offense to Leish, of course he's no offense to him at all, but it was you, and that's where they're at now because of you, and now they're courting Dovey. So in a way, I feel that's a little slap in the face in a way. But if they still retain you as a test rider, would it make you happy, or would you rather be a racer? Would you, if it's something open up, maybe a Moto 2, would you go down to Moto 2? I mean, would that be the meaning to you, or would you take that ride?
Yeah, I mean, when you put in these type of circumstances, it makes you reevaluate everything. Because I think that as humans, we're greedy, and we try and take the absolute very best at that time, and we kind of chase that. And then obviously I'm in a situation now where I have nothing, so it's literally anything that comes, would be great. But yeah, I think I have to really understand, where my heart is when everything's on the table, and so on and so forth. But right now I'm just keeping riding bikes. I'm still riding my motocross stuff, and I'm still doing, the R3s and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm keeping occupied. Going back to, do I think I was screwed over, and the bike and this, that, and the other? I think that if you have a look at where the Aprilia was at the end of 2018,
yes,
when I jumped in on the project, that was a bike on Struggle City.
Yes. Main Street Struggle City. Main Street Struggle City.
Yeah. So, and where I've left it to the point where Andrea Dovizioso can jump on the bike and say he quite enjoys riding it, after riding a championship winning motorcycle, for the last, definitely for the last 5 years, but, let's say a Ducati for the last 8. I can be proud of that work, and I hope to continue that, and then we'll see. And then we'll see what happens, and we'll see how everything, pans out. But I mean, the sport comes down to lap times, and what I still don't understand is that every test that I've ever been at, I've been 1 second faster than Salvadori. So it still always has me questioning why I am where I am. But this is a political world. I'm watching Drive to Survive at the moment, the Formula One.
Yes.
And I think it's episode 9 when they, show Sergio Perez. That guy was, 2 rounds out from the end of the season. He had no drive. Nobody was interested. We're talking about a guy that was fighting for 3rd position in the Constructors' Championship, there with Racing Point. And yeah, he was basically had nothing for the next season. He goes out and wins, still has nothing for the next season.
Yeah.
And then, then that comes through, and okay, he's at Red Bull now. But then I also throw it back to Chaz Davis, who I don't know entirely the numbers, but I think he podiumed 10 out of the last 12 races or something like that last season. Mm-hmm. And he was still looking at, when the season finished, he still didn't have a job. So the motorcycle world at the moment, or let's say the world in general, is a funny place, and we all have I don't know, it doesn't always make sense. But if we have if we do manage to find ourselves, having a job and, still going forward and enjoying the world that we're living in, then I suppose we have to be grateful from that point as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying the right things because you're professional. I mean, you're saying the right things. I feel something different, but you're saying the right things. But like, when did it become, and was it just this year, or when did you realize that motorsport is not just about the sport, it's a bit. When did you realize it's a business more than a sport? Was it just this year, or was it well before?
It's been strange. I've been very fortunate, pretty much all of my career, I've always been wanted. And, being wanted is a fantastic feeling. It just is
I have no idea what that's like. No one's ever wanted me. No one. My parents tried to give me away twice, and no one took me. So.
They still trying to.
yeah, they are. They go, hey, do you want this grown man? He's costing me money.
Yeah, they're like Oklahoma, like the borders are closed, man. You're not allowed to come back.
There's a big digital picture of me, like, don't let him in.
yeah, forbidden.
Yeah.
Bad. When did I realize it was business? Yeah. I mean, as I said, I've been very lucky. I've had a tremendous, career, and I've been wanted. It's a great feeling, and I would say that it has only been since I've been at Aprilia that you actually start to feel what it's like that you're not top of the tree, or you're not first pick. It's
Stuck.
For someone maybe to pick you up, and they just don't. So that comes with age, that comes with situation, that comes with a change of dynamic of the sport. I think that certainly everyone seems to be going for the younger riders now, and that's just what it is. But MotoGP's done a tremendous job with it not being business orientated for such a long time. But I think that COVID has been a real kick in the teeth, across the board. And I think that, that's made a few decisions this year, business related rather than not.
How hard is it to stay positive, though? I mean, because that's the one great thing about you guys is that, and if you watch Drive to Survive, like you said, with Sergio Perez, but somehow it always works out. Like you said, you've been fortunate, and even on my end, sometimes it's like it's a business, and I feel the age thing also, but sometimes, in the end, it kind of always works out. So how hard was it in the beginning when, Salvador, you got to ride and you're like, really? After all I've done and, my lap times and everything, but you still, like you said, you're still in it. You're still on the radar. They've got to know Bradley Smith, they know. And they, the MotoGP world knows because you're the consummate professional. There's other riders and, names not included, I think we both knew what I'm talking about, who have burned bridges while they were in MotoGP. And they said, what the bike was like and blah, blah, blah. And they're no longer in it and they're in some other series because of what they said and they burned bridges. Where, like I said, you're saying the right things, but you're also stating facts. So how hard is it to stay that positive, going, okay, it's going to work out, it's going to work out. And then, like, you're at this part of the season going, okay, it's going to work out, it's going to work out. Okay, this guy, his lap times, but okay, it's going to work out. I mean, how hard is that to stay upbeat?
I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy. And, and there's certainly days where you just want to throw everything in because it's just, you feel that it's not worth it. But then on the other side of giving up, the pain doesn't really go away. Yeah. So, it's one of those ones that if you do throw in the towel and it's like, oh man, I don't care for this, or I'm not even going to try. I think that those sad emotions or those painful emotions, they don't actually go away. And it almost makes it worse because then you sit there and go, what if? What if I just gave it another week? What if I just did this? What if I just did that? And I think what if will last with you forever. Yes. Whereas if you just see it through and you go and you give your absolute maximum, it's going to end at some point. Something's going to end, especially with this Aprilia thing or whatever, something's going to end in the next, let's say it's 3 months, but at least I know for those 3 months, I stayed ready. I stayed positive. I stayed optimistic. I stayed ready. And if it didn't work out in 3 months, then I know I did my absolute best and that's it. Whereas if I just told them, or if I just burn bridges, as you said, who knows how long it's going to go, because you always ask that question, if I just done this, or if I just gave it another chance, blah, blah, blah. So, and to be honest, I don't want to do anything else. And I think that's always a lovely situation to be in, is when you don't want to do anything else. It's like, well, what else would I rather be doing? And it's this. And even though it sucks, right now, it won't suck always. And,
yes.
Then it will slot into whatever position it needs to, and I'll make it work.
That it's funny you say that. It's so true. Somebody told me the same thing. It's like sometimes, just careers, they go up and down. That's how it is. It's a roller coaster ride, and so it's like, and I think they were at some gig that's like, ugh, and his comic turned to the other comic and goes, where else would you rather be? And that simple phrase, like you just said, what else would you rather be doing? I mean, yeah, it's not where you want to be now, but where else would you rather be? I mean, riding motorcycles, me doing whatever I do. I mean, and that's what it's all about. And what do you find solace in? Like, what makes you go, okay, like, put you in a positive place and makes you feel good? Is it riding your bicycle, motorcycle? Is it music? I mean, what makes you go, okay, I'm in a good place mentally, and now I can deal with this bullshit?
Ooh. I think that varies day on day as well.
Yeah.
That varies day on day. Because sometimes you literally anything that just takes your focus away from those detrimental thoughts inside your own head. Because let's be honest, most of the time it's not actually someone else's actions that are making you upset. It's your story about those actions inside your own head. You're the actual one probably creating the problem. So the more that you can try and distract yourself from that, then that's what it is. But also I'm not going to say that every day music cheers me up, because it doesn't. Some days you're listening to your genre and you're listening to the words and you're like, oh man, I'm in a bad spot right now, because they're not good lyrics, so
who do you listen to? What do you listen to?
Man, today I've been on a feel good one. I don't even know what it's from. You'll find it on Matt Dickens' story. It was from yesterday. It's a theme track for yesterday. Feel good, or I feel so good, or something like that. But Yeah, I've been listening to that one, but I have a very varied music taste. Like anything from like Disney through to like Green Day or Good Charlotte or something like that. I mean, mine. I,
Eclectic.
I have some interesting things going up on inside my head, because if that's where I bounce from, like that far left to that far right, then there's something going on up there. But yeah, it's good stuff though. It's good stuff.
So what do you like? Okay, did you ever use music like before a race, like like maybe like before you get on the grid or even during the grid? Like sometimes, I mean, is there anything you listen to get you pumped up or settle you down to get you in that laser light focused? Anything you listen to?
Um, I would say that I quite enjoy. I think it's Jay-Z, Rihanna, "Run This Town."
Really?
Um, yeah, and it's one of those ones. I don't know why, but I always like listen to it just before going into the garage. So yeah, just I don't know. There's something about that one that does it. But yeah, like normally during our warm-ups we have a very upbeat tempo, music, kind of feel good factor, especially when I was working with Matt. It
Yeah.
was always feel good factor, always trying to like lighten the mood, lift the mood, um rather than feel that it has to go like really dead serious and stuff like that. It was always like, right, raise heart rate, feel good, feel happy, and get into that good positive mindset to then walk inside that garage and be ready to do work. Because there's times where it's heavy, if you're
Yeah.
winning and fighting for podiums, then it's almost like, oh, I just need to concentrate and that's it. But I mean, when you're pulling a KTM, just inside the points, or you're developing an Aprilia, to not finish last, there's times when you have to
You
have to find some artificial happiness in there somewhere.
put some DMX on, Rough Riders.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen to DMX. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe you just went. That's what you got to do, though. Sometimes you got to be that dog, man. You got to be a dog, you
There you
know.
go.
That like, I can't believe you just barked.
I'd take your word for it.
Now, what Disney music did you ever listen to? What Disney music?
Oh man, I love Tarzan. So anything like with Phil Collins, I was a big fan of Phil Collins.
Yes.
Then that's always yeah. I think that was growing up with my, obviously with mum and dad,
Yeah.
and I think my dad was quite a big fan of Phil Collins. So that was good. What is it? Colors in the Wind, the Pocahontas theme tune. Yeah, dude, I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. This is straight legit. So
Good for
this
you.
is how my life is.
Hey, whatever it takes to get you there, man. Whatever it takes to get you there.
Absolutely.
Now, I always want to ask you this, like when you're on the grid, because I've been there before. Now I feel like, God, I wish I could apologize to all the riders now, because now I know a little bit, and being around, like, fuck, I was so annoying. Here I am saying, hey, how you guys doing? You guys got to concentrate with these fucking animals. I'm going, hey, guys, it's like, what did you, like, how was that mental mindset when you're coming on? I mean, you go into the garage, okay? Like you say, you listen to your music, you go into the garage, and then you're waiting, you get on the bike, then you do your sighting lap, boom, you stop, the umbrella girl comes out, blah, blah. What's going through your mind? And do you have any music in? What are you listening to? I mean, do your texts know to talk to you, not to talk to you? What are you going through? Like, walk me through that. Because that to me is the most fascinating point of everything. That's my favorite part, is when you guys are on that grid, sitting on the bike or standing up, whatever, how you got to be. And those moments before and everybody clears out. You take that last kind of handshake. I call it the shank-a-link-a-ling moment, where everything goes, clank, 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 and it's just you and the dude that, and that's my favorite part. So walk me through what's going through the mind. How are you mentally?
Well, the good thing was working with Randy Mamola. Like, he actually taught me to kind of be focused and be in game zone only when you put your helmet on. Just because I think that we have like a short reel concentrated attention span, and I think that was always an important one, was like, just when you put your helmet on, that's the time to really kind of focus. But everything's a build up. So like I said, you go from that feel good factor of getting, ready and putting your leathers on and so on and so forth. Try and keep those nerves out of the system, because at that point we're putting on our leathers about 30 minutes before the start of the race. So it's still quite a long time, like especially mentally, to, if you're starting to get amped up already, then, by the time the race comes, that's, that's already a long way into it. So try not to, build up there, then, just tick your boxes, make sure that everything's ready inside the garage, then obviously you go round to the grid. Tire scrub is important, especially if you're putting a new tire on the grid, but maybe you've got a front tire. I always really can't try and concentrate on getting like maximum right, maximum left. And then the main thing really on the grid, I don't want a lot of light-hearted chit chat. I just want to kind of be in my own thoughts. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is going through my electronic strategies. So just knowing kind of, right, that map's there, we did this, we did that. If there's any really important points on the track, save the tire. If we're running and we're struggling on fuel mixtures, know exactly, when to go to those and when not. Try and get a little bit of information from the Michelin guys in terms of what people are running tire wise, unless there's any surprises. And then just really try not to think about too many things. Good start, and where I want to position myself in the first like 2-3 corners, and then the race kind of naturally flows into its position. But I think that you can kind of see everybody is quite withdrawn on the grid. No one's really too excited, but it's mainly because they're just in their thoughts and, kind of just thinking, right, okay, how do I get this done and how do I execute? Because I think that's the most important thing is, there's a lot of talent on that grid, but not always everyone executes the race, exactly to their full potential. And I think that's the most important thing for us as riders is trying to extract the maximum from the bike on that day. And if that's winning, that's winning. And, if that's 16th position and no points, then that's just what it is.
Well, Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan, then they get hit in the mouth. So, like, if you had that plan, okay, I want to be here by this corner, here by this corner. Well, what if, somebody goes crazy, like a Brad Bender comes and knocks you out? Like, all right, there. Like, how does it take you that off mentally, or can you bounce back, or does it just throw your whole race? Like, what do I do now? I mean, what happens then if it throws you off?
Well, that's one thing that is most important is I think training those type of things. And I think that we can see that, and I don't want to pick on him, but for example, I think Maverick Vinales is a perfect case of this. If something goes a little bit wrong in the opening of the race, it's almost like his race is done. Like, he's just doesn't seem to be able to refine the focus to bring himself back to the point of, his maximum potential. If something happens, and, it can upset his whole race. Whereas almost with Mark, if something happens, we get even better Mark, if that makes sense. It's almost like if we say that both riders are at 95%, if Maverick gets knocked, he goes to 85. And, if Mark gets knocked, he goes to 105. It's like a different character comes out and he's like, oh man, now I'm going to have to really go for it because, I have to show you. And yeah, I think that just depends on mentality and I think a little bit of training and focus and those type of things. But if you stick Maverick out on front, like he did in Qatar, the dude just disappears and wins races, so it is funny how, different people, come with different things.
I mean, even from the naked eye, I can see the red mist. Like a perfect example, I think, was Assen. That great race in Assen when there was like 4 or 5 guys vying for the lead. And I remember Renz hit Mark, and then I think the next lap, Mark came and banged him. And Renz looked over and Mark was like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I think Renz like, All right. Like you can see almost like him going, wow, this is what we're doing. Mark is like, yeah, this is what we're doing. And it's like you said, I can almost see that from the naked eye, from home on the couch. I can see that. So have you ever had the red mist where somebody pissed you off? You go, okay, it's on then. I mean, have you ever had that before? Because you seem so cerebral and so like just like nothing would rattle you. You know what I mean? I've never seen you rattle. So have you ever had that where you just go, okay, all right, buddy, okay. Oh, sorry about that elbow. I mean, have you ever had that before?
I have to show you a picture that there's of me and Andrea Iannone.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yes.
So there's a picture from me in Assen, and I think we were fighting for fourth place, and
Yeah.
basically we hit each other about 3 laps, 3 times every lap for the last like 12 laps of the race, and it was just literally on, and we lost the front group, the podium had gone, and it was just like, okay, like the only thing I have to lose right now is fourth position. So I'm going to make sure that one way or the other, I beat you because you've ruined my race. And that's just what it is. And you know what it's like at Assen. It's just Slipstream City. We're in 125. So like, and we're just, every time that we'd go past each other, we'd just hit each other with the elbow, or we'd swing into each other, or, you know, pinch each other against the curb. I promise you, it was like 12 laps like this, just going back and forth. And we come into the last chicane there, and I just remember he was always going to dive bomb me. So I was like, right, okay, I need to prepare this properly. So I kind of stayed mid-track, waited for him to dive bomb me, squared it back. And I just remember, like, I come in past him, like, around the outside, and I stood up on the back, like on my foot pegs, looking back at him, shouting at him like, that's what's up, but my vein, like, that was sticking out of my neck here was just out like this. I was just like so angry and so pumped at the same time. But there's a couple of pictures from a couple of different angles, and my mum and dad actually have it inside the office at home. There's 2 pictures up. There's my first victory in Jerez, on the podium, and there's that picture as well. I think they're two big moments in my career.
Man, I remember that. I really gotta go, man, what the hell was that about? 'Cause I remember that because you look back, like, I didn't know what you were saying, but I was like, to Iannone? I mean, that's almost a death sentence. Were you afraid, like, after the race was over, he was gonna, like, come over and say, what was that about? I mean, because Iannone's crazy. I mean, he really is. That's the one guy, man, that he scares me, literally scared. Like, so were you worried like it was gonna be some retribution, like after it's all over and all the transporters are gone, it's just you and him? Did that ever worry you?
Oh no, I wasn't too worried. I kind of figured that from years of riding motocross that I was going to be all right. I've met enough rough characters in my life that we'd be all right from that point of view. There was another situation as well where I remember Keenan Sofuoglu came when he came to Moto 2.
Yes.
And that guy was rough. Like, and he had this reputation of being rough. But I remember Eugene Laverty, he said, hey, listen, the best way to deal with him is to do it back. And then it's almost like a respect thing. It's like he thinks that by being rough makes people afraid. And, then they show him some respect. But if you do it back, he actually, he doesn't get angry about it. He's like, oh, okay, this guy gives as good as he gets.
Yeah.
So I remember the very first test I rolled out, and sure enough, halfway through the middle of the day, I just get, Keenan just let go of the brakes at Valencia into the first right and just clipped me. It was like my first time on the Moto 2, this, that, and the other. And I just remember, like, I wobbled and was like, oh man, like nearly into the gravel. And I just remembered what Eugene had told me. So basically I chased after him, and 2 corners later, I just released the brake and just went straight across the curb. Bam! Both of us went into the gravel. But that was it. We were all good for the rest of the season. Then, like, never had any problems with him after that completely. So, yeah, I think it's one of those ones. If you set out your stall, then you're always going to be all right.
It's so. I just remember what he did to Sam. Was it Sam Lowe's? Yeah, in Super Sport in Aragon, where he literally just went bam and hit him. And after the race, Lowe's looked like he was shook they go, was that intentional? He goes, well, I just, just part of racing. But he looked shook, and I go, this guy's crazy. I mean, honestly, Keenan and Iannone to me are the guys that if I were one of you riders, I was like, man, I need security. I mean, those guys look, just nuts. And especially Keenan. He torpedoed Lowe's. I remember that one, man. That was scary. So it's funny. I wish I would have seen that. That would have been great, man. Like, when you guys do something like that, do you guys know that you're such skillful riders that you're not really somebody's going to really get hurt, but just enough to hurt? I mean, how do you do that without really hurting them? You know what I mean? I mean, like this guy's going to crash into a fence or whatever.
Yeah, it's just awareness of where your bike is and kind of incoming speeds and stuff like that. That's why there's certain corners, and this is why, and I'm going to throw it out there in terms of it's so difficult for race direction, and the race stewards to understand and make the right calls. I think they are doing a bad job at the moment. They do get a bad rap. But I think, part of the reasons is that, Freddie Spencer, he has raced. But how racing was back in 500 days isn't the same as, what the racing is now. And he certainly doesn't know what it's like to ride a Moto 3 bike or a Moto 2 bike. He just really knows how, it is to ride a 500cc.
Right.
And then the other guys there, they got no idea. So when you see incidents and when you see, bits out on track, there's certain corners as well where you go, yeah, that was a racing incident. And there's other corners where you go, that wasn't a racing incident. That was completely, they were out of control, or that was intentional. And, that's one thing that, you only understand with, for me, understand, when you've been a racer, or if you are a racer, and it's, it's a difficult one, but like you if you're going to wipe someone out, or, if you're not, a little rub and, and touch is okay. Right. But when it's kind of intentional, like some of the Moto 3 guys that they're in the inside, they've passed 5 guys through the sand of Qatar and then just nail everybody inside the hairpin, then you go, okay, that wasn't smart.
Okay, well, since we're on that, and this is the infamous, and you can skip it if you want to, but since and you're a racer, 2015 Malaysia, Marquez Rossi.
Are we really going there?
Well,
wow.
Hey, you're the racer. So, I've watched that. Oh, and I watched every angle, the helicopter angle, this thing. I mean, what is your take on it? I mean, you can skip it if you want to, because, you got to see these guys, and I don't. So you can skip if you want to, but what's your take on that?
But what do you want to know? The actual incident itself, or the whole melee?
Well, shit. Since we're on it, how about the whole melee then? How about that? Since we're on it, why not the whole melee then? Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I'm pissed that it stands, because if Ali would have got, if he would have got disqualified or black flagged, I'd have got another podium, because I finished 4th in that race. So it bummed me out anyway that it happened the way that it does, and it still affects me 6 years on. So I've let it go. I'm over it, man. I'm over it. So the whole melee, like a lot of people said, Mark intentionally, slowed down, etc., etc. It's not the case in terms of, I really understand Malaysia and the strengths and weaknesses of the Honda.
Oh, come on. No.
Only really, because obviously I've seen some different data from when I was at Yamaha, when I was at Aprilia, when I was at Ducati, or when I've seen some of Ducati's data. You understand how vastly different the different motorcycles ride. Now, you always know it because you see it out on track, but for some reason in Sepang, it is that much different. Mm-hmm. And I just take you back to, if you just remember Qatar 2, when Fabio caught Jorge Martin about 0.3, 0.4 through sector 3.
Yeah.
You know, he just literally went into second place. Martin was half a second in front, and he just went through, you know, turn 12, 13, 14 and passed him into 15. And you're like, well, how is that possible? But that's just the different ways that the bikes do the lap time. The Ducati goes fast, you know, down the straight, breaks late, but, you know, isn't so fast in the high-speed corners. The Yamaha is complete opposite, and that's just the way it is. So those guys ended up on track, you know, kind of yo-yoing back and forward. And I think that, you know, Valley obviously felt that he was holding him up, and Mark kind of felt the same. And once there was a bit of argy-bargy, you know, Mark's kind of chimp comes out and is like, all right, well, you want to play that game, let's play that game. And Valentino was clearly not in for messing around. So he's like, okay, you want to play that game, let's play that game. And, you know, that's just what it was. And it was like that for 2 or 3 laps. I think anyone that could turn around and say that it wasn't an intentional act, maybe not for Mark to crash, but if it wasn't an intentional act to make contact, you know, from Valentino to Mark, you know, I think they're kidding themselves. Did he mean to make him crash? No, I don't believe so. Did he want to make a bit of contact, and did he want to prove a point? Absolutely. You know, I think that was his line in the sand in terms of, okay, we're done here. Now let's carry on with our race. Let's stop dick swinging, you know, back and forth with each other, and let's just crack on with this race because I have a championship to win.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's how it played out in the end.
Oh my God. Yeah, I wanted to get that from you. I mean, that's the one. Even to this day, man, and it's so much more than just Malaysia. I think, you know, it was the buildup to Malaysia. I mean,
Yeah.
it started in Argentina, and then the bad blood in Assen went, and you know, and Mark was pissy what he did in Assen, and Mark wasn't having a good year, and he wasn't going to win the championship, and then Valle accused him in Phillip Island of you know, of holding back, but it was Iannone that actually held him up. Iannone was the one who got the podium, held Rossi back in Phillip Island, although Mark did make up half a second on Lorenzo in that last lap. I mean, it's so much that season, and also you can look at Mazzano when Rossi was on the ruined Lorenzo's fast lap. He was on the racing line, and he knows better. So that's why he got that warning, which is the reason he had to start in the back of the pack in Valencia. So it's so much that built up to that, and it's a shame. And it's like, I didn't want to ask, but I was like, since we're there.
But the thing is, though, isn't that what's racing supposed to be about? Like, you know, that whole kind of build up and that kind of, you know, going back and forward and this, that, and the other. You know, I think that everyone had missed that. I heard it the other day from one of the cycling commentators, and it with I don't even remember what race it was now. It was the race, like, literally just gone, and it was between the British guy Tom Pidcock and Wout van Aert, and they literally finished, like, you know, no gap in between them whatsoever. It was like millimeters.
I saw that, yeah.
And he's like, I'm so happy that these guys look angry. There's no patting on their back. There's no, great job, man, you know, this, that, and the other. Like, I'm so pleased that for a period of time that they're pissed. You know, that they're angry. They don't want to see the guy. And then, you know, after 5 minutes, once they calm down, this, that, and the other, they might go and, you know, give him a fist pump and say, hey, man, good job. But, you know, I think that for a number of years, everyone's been a little bit too nice to each other. Like, oh, yeah, you know, like, good job. You know, I'm happy for you, this, that, and the other. Like, I'm happy for people. Like, I want to see people succeed. But if they're my rivals, I'm not happy for them. Like, if they're first and you know, and I'm second, I'm bummed, you know. And
that's what you should be.
I think that was exciting between Mark and Valentino in terms of, you know, it was war for them. It was like, you know, pride, and it was war, you know, and had been for a number of times, you know, and you know, I still believe that it is. You know, I still don't believe that it's completely gone, but, you know, obviously it just bubbled up to like that point where it was a shame, because I think that everyone would have liked to have seen Valentino win that 10th title.
Yeah.
I still believe it would have been good for the sport. It would have been good for, the fans and this, that, and the other. It would have been good for him. But man, these things aren't given. There's so many things that go into these sports. We're not playing tiddlywinks out there. There's, there's a whole different dynamic that, what makes sport. They don't give the trophies before the race has even started. You have to earn it. And, and that means that you have to be smart in terms of who you piss off and, who you want your rivals to be,
I know I would hate to piss off somebody like Brad Bender going into like a race like, oh God, I pissed him. He has no chance. Or Darren Bender pissed him off and then go into a turn.
I'd be more worried with Darren than with Brad.
Exactly. And like Brad, with Brad, okay, it was a mistake. He really didn't mean it. But with Darren, you're like, oh God. Oh, God. If you're going for a championship, and say you pissed him off 2 races before, and you're like, come on, man. I'd talk to him like, I'll buy you dinner. I'll get your parents a vacation in the Bahamas. Please, don't bang me. I got a championship to win. I would not want to go into turn 2 with that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And speaking of which, I want to ask you, we talked about Maverick. He just dismantled his Twitter account, and I want to know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he because from the fans he was getting it, and I guess people were passionate, and I do my little race report that you've always been like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, which I love, by the way. You have no idea what you're talking about. So it's like, but for shits and giggles, and I never go too hard on you guys. I always try to make it fun, and I don't go because I know what you guys go through, and I know the risks, so I try to make it fun. And I said there's a missing persons report from Maverick Vinales after the race. Said, where was he? Whatever. But then he dismantled his Twitter account because it's like, I guess he was getting vitriol. And like, that's what makes me so mad. Like, how bad did it get for you, or does it get for you? Like when you're racing, say with KTM or Tech 3 or whatever. Like, did you feel fans like come in with vitriol and say stuff to you and how much did it really affect you, or you go, man, to hell with this guy or person, whatever?
I circle back to, it's always nice to feel wanted. Like, I'm just going to go back to that one again. And, anyone that says, I don't give a fuck what people say about me, this, that, and the other, it's bullshit. Everyone cares, and that's the nice thing about social media, that there's so many positive things, and there's so many nice things that you can kind of read about yourself or for yourself in support of yourself or about other people. Like, it doesn't only have to be all about you. You can see that about others as well. And that's what I love about social media. It makes a big world small at times and creates a fantastic network. But it also does give a bigger voice to the inexperienced or the the non-professional out there. And but what you're going to do, like, for all the negative things, is there more positives? And that's that's another thing out there. But also, do you have to have a social media account? And the truth is, no. You can be a motorcycle rider and, just turn up and do your racing and that's it. There's no one forcing you to have one. Is it beneficial to you if you speak to managers and PR and, endorsements and sponsorship? Yeah, it is. But, is that gonna make you faster? Probably not. And if it's detrimental to you as a person, then that's just what it is. I don't think as motorcycle racers we get it that bad. When I start to read some of the stuff on celebrities or film stars, or I don't know how it is in the comedy world, but I'm sure it's pretty rough, or I think maybe comedy is worse, because if they think you suck, they're there literally right in front of you and they tell you during your set,
Yeah, man, I've almost gotten fights on stage. I mean, I've gotten this close to getting a fight with the dude in the audience, and I don't know where, but the security guard came and stopped it. But I mean, I've gotten into it. But I mean, but then again, no, if I have a bad show, I got a bad show. I go get another one and it'd be good. But you guys, you risk it all, and then there's people who, hey man, this guy didn't deserve this ride, blah, blah, and they don't know, hey, this bike kind of sucks, but I can't really say it because I'm, they're also paying me, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, do you let that get to you, or you go, man, I don't need this shit in my life, and you just disable the account like Maverick did, I always want to know, like, does it ever get to you?
Oh no, it gets to everybody. Like anyone that says that it doesn't. Even Meghan Markle, she tried to tell the world that she didn't have no idea that everyone was calling her the worst person in the world, because of what she said about the Queen and blah blah blah. She knew. Like, I know that up in Calendar or wherever she is on Oprah Winfrey's street of houses, they have pretty good freaking Wi-Fi that she knows exactly what's going on. Now, if she chooses to pretend, then that's up to her. But it's a shame that he's unable to kind of block that out. But if you're unable to do it and you just want to live a quiet life with your future mummy to be, his wife, is going to have a kid, and it's not my position to tell you how to live your life, but I'm just literally can't think of anything else at the moment. I can just imagine them coming over on Team Radio. Can you imagine, like, a Twitter handle at what are you? You're not Funny Man 6869 anymore. What are you now?
I'm Funny Boy 6869 because something happened and they dismantled my account. They didn't tell me. I literally was on the treadmill at the gym and I looked at my email and said, "Your Funny Man 6869 account has been disabled." I go, "Are you?" And you can't, you can't reply to them because that's it. I mean, they're the final word. There is no, "Hey man, can I get a probation?" There's nothing. They just so I had to start over. So I said, "I'll show you," and I went, "Funny Boy 6869." So I actually digressed in life.
But that was it. It was like, so like, can you imagine Team Radio comes over, hey, this is Funny Boy 6869. You suck. You don't deserve the ride. While you're actually riding around inside your helmet, like that one would be tough. I don't want to be a comic. I only want to be a good comic, or I only want my stuff on Netflix, because then they can't say nothing about me. They just need to switch it off.
Oh, let me tell you something. They'll still say something about you, man, no matter what. I mean, but you know what's great?
They'll find a way.
Is that I've actually, and it's funny, I went through that because I had a couple specials out and I looked at the negative comments and they didn't really affect me like I thought they would. But people don't realize I clap back, like, like, "Oh really?" And I'll respond back like, "Hey, listen, what you don't know is," but I do it in a way that's professional. I don't really get, I think go back and forth on social media makes you like an idiot. But I try to make it positive. They go like, "I think this joke is kind of racially insensitive." I go, "Well, you're totally entitled to your opinion," and blah, blah, blah. And I'll make it professional, kind of like a politician. But in my head, I'm going, "You fucking pussy." I mean, that's what I say inside my head, but it didn't come out that way. But I say that, I really do. I mean, they have no idea how much of a fuck I don't give, but I act like I do, and that's the point in everything. Act like you do, and you really don't. But you know what, man, Brad? God damn it, man. I'm pressed for time. I want to get so much more, but we're gonna go quick fire questions here, 1-word answers here, because we're pressed for time. And god damn it, man, it's so damn good to see you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart base. So we're going quick answers, okay? Now, dumbass here wants to get a dirt bike. At this age, I want to get a dirt bike. So, what size should I get, and when? What now? I'm good. Okay, and what size should I get? Should I get 250, 450, and what manufacturer or whatever? So I want to get a dirt bike, and what should I do?
But you want to go to dirt bike track, or you want to go like enduro?
More enduro, but I'll probably get a dirt bike track, but more enduro. If I do a dirt bike track, yeah.
I'm gonna say if you got like a 250 4-stroke, any of the EXC, so like KTM do a great one, Husqvarna, Honda's come out with a new one as well. But yeah, you don't need a 450; it's unnecessary. So a 250 4-stroke, you have a great time. But don't buy it secondhand though. If you can afford to get it new, if you're gonna buy it secondhand, get a 2-stroke.
Okay, gotcha. But I do have my eyes on this 450 that's for sale. It's a Kawasaki 450 that's for sale. But Brad, it's so beautiful.
You don't have the talent, my friend. Don't do it.
You ain't gotta say it like that. You hurt my feelings. I mean, that really hurt my feelings.
Hey, it's real. I I don't come to your comedy club with a freaking microphone and stand on the stage and try and tell jokes. So don't go and buy a 450 and think that you're Eli Tomac. It's just not going to happen.
Oh my God. Okay, that was coming next. I know you're a supercross head, a motocross head. That was your first love. I mean, so when it comes to supercross, right now, one word. Who's the best supercross rider? Who's the best supercross rider right now? Not who's leading the points, not who's that, but who's the best supercross rider right now, regardless of points or whatever position. If you had to pick,
It's Cooper Webb.
okay, what makes Cooper? Because to me, he's in Roxon's head, and I got so mad Saturday night. I literally had to. I turned it off. I didn't even watch the podium ceremony because I go, Rock, you had a 7-second lead and you couldn't do it, and I got mad and turned the goddamn TV off. I really was that mad. So what makes Cooper so good?
A inner desire that doesn't come around, very often. The guy is prepared and willing to suffer and leave it all on the table more than anyone else that I've ever met. He just decides 5 laps to go that he just burns everything that he's got. Like, you never see that guy like not sweating on the podium. Like, he's always hurting. You see there's like, spit coming everywhere, there's dirt all around his face. He just goes into that hurt locker, into that red zone harder than anyone else that I know. But also in Kenny's defense, I still believe that this virus is hitting him and is still affecting, whether it's the virus or whether it's his arm, something still affects him to a point where he just doesn't have that final 5% at end of races. So it's not mentally that he breaks down. It's just physically he's just unable to do it. And that's why he doesn't really fight back when Cooper passes, because he's just unable to fight back because he doesn't have the raw energy. He's just trying to get it to the finish, in my opinion.
Who's the most talented of supercross riders, do you think, in your opinion?
In 450s?
Yeah, the most talented.
Yeah, Kenny Roczen.
You think so? You think more than Eli?
Yeah.
And what makes you think? Because you see things different than I do. So what makes you think that?
I mean, if you look at Kenny 5 years ago before the accident, I think that's already, a clear sign of how good Kenny was. Mm-hmm. And it's a sign of how good Kenny is that he's able to come back and have the problems that he does with his arms, because he's still riding with a wrist brace, et cetera. And then also having, the physical problems that he has, and he's still able to be on the box. Eli turns up, and when he turns up, it's amazing. But even when he's fit and healthy, sometimes he's finished in like P8, P9 for no reason whatsoever. Whereas Kenny, even on his bad day, finishes second or third. Okay, there's anomalies, but let's say Kenny even struggling is P2, P3, and that's just class. That's talent and class.
How about 250? Who's the talented rider in 250? Most talented rider in 250?
Jet Lawrence.
I think that kid is. I think the future is his. I mean, I think the future is all his. I see him and I go, wow, Honda, man, they struck gold with him. That kid has got it all. He's fun, good looking, talented. He got the Aussie accent that chicks love, and he's funny. I mean, he's.
All of the things that we're not, BT.
Speak for yourself. You speak for yourself there, man. I don't like the way you hurt my feelings here, Brad. I don't like how you hurt my feelings, man. I'm trying to be nice, and here you are throwing me shade, bro. Why are you throwing me shade like this, man? You bring me on my show, and then you just do that to me. Who does this guy think he is? I know, man. I'm like, what the hell is this about? Why you got to come at me like that? No, but I like it, though. I love it, though, honestly. Okay, so speaking of MotoGP, who's the most talented rider in Moto 3? Most talented rider in Moto 3?
Oh, in Moto 3?
Because I love Moto 3. That's why you came on the map in my opinion. Because everybody looks at GP and I go, Moto 3 is the future. And I saw you and I go, I like this Bradley Smith kid.
Wow. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon with everybody else, but this Pedro Acosta, you cannot argue with a guy that just finished 3 podiums in a row, and the way that he's doing it at the moment as well. It just looks, kind of easy and simple for him. I'd like to touch back base, in 6 or 7 rounds to kind of see, once he's had his first crash or DNF or a bit of bad luck or something like that, actually what kind of happens. What the dude can do with a motorbike, though, Darren Binder, the fact that he can just flick a Moto 3 bike sideways, back it in on its knee into the corner and pass anyone at any corner at any time, that's some skill and talent, which is awesome to watch.
I love Ben. So do you have him picked for the championship? Who do you pick for the championship in Moto 3?
I haven't really followed as much as I should, just because I've tried not to watch it.
It stings, doesn't it?
I'm like dismantling my MotoGP account, not my Twitter account. That's where I'm at the moment. I don't even want to see those races. But who do I have picked for the championship? I would like to see Darren. And yeah, as much as I've liked to have seen McPhee, the way that these first 3 races have gone, like you kind of written everything off now. So, but yeah, let's see how it all pans out. Like, I always like Moto 3 because there's 5 guys that can win with 3 laps to go, and that's what makes it exciting.
It's so beautiful. I love it. How about Moto 2? Who do you have picked for the championship in Moto 2?
Wow. I mean, I'd like to see Remy Gardner, just because I think that, it's all coming together for him. He's finally got that time. He's still at the right age where MotoGP is definitely an option for him. And he's done it by himself. I mean, I followed Remy's career because he lives just down the road from Dakota Momola. And, I've hung out with Dakota, pretty much all the Momola family all of my life. So I know Remy. And he really has grafted to the point where he put himself in this position. And, none of this was given. It was no kind of like Spanish dude rolling with Spanish money or, Italian dude. It was like, okay, his dad supported him to a certain point, but, then it was kind of, right, Remy, you're on your own and you have to make this work. And, he's figured out this Moto 2 job pretty impressively. And, it's good to see, him position himself now inside the KTM team where he has a real shot at looking into MotoGP and a bright future.
He's a grinder is what I like. I mean, where everybody's pegging Sam to win, and I love Sam. Don't get me wrong, I love Sam. But Remy's just a grinder, and you see it. I mean, the way he did Joe Roberts in that Portimao race, I mean, that basically showed, hey, man, I'm here to win. I mean, you want some friends, you go to Facebook, I'm coming in, and if you want to stop me, that's great, but I'm coming through, bro.
It's the difference between, an Aussie like grinder and, the Southern Californian kid that likes to surf, Yeah. Hey, man, let's hang out. No, let's not hang out. Let's get this podium, and then we'll have a good time afterwards.
That's a great way to look at it. Okay, well, who do you think is the most talented rider in Moto 2? I personally think it's Raul Fernandez. I think Raul Fernandez is a tremendous talent. And what do you think of him? Or have you even watched?
Yeah, like between Raul, but the one that I really impressed with, like in his rookie season, is Ayagura. I mean,
yes,
I would have bet money against that guy, being a success. Like, I would have questioned everybody that thought it was a good idea to put him on a Moto 2 bike. I'd have been like, you're doing what? Like, why?
Yes.
That guy shows nothing. Like, and it shows nothing. Like, if you had to bet between Albert Arenas and Ayagura, you'd have been like, Arenas is going to kill it. He's going to get some top 10s and maybe a top 6 by the end of the season, and then podiums in his second year. And Ayagura is just going to be like a Powie and finish like P24 and go home. Like, but chapeau to the guy, like absolutely killing it. And if it wasn't for Fernandez, then everyone would be raving about him. But Fernandez, just doing magical things at the moment. And KTM have got another, KTM are building themselves a solid little army, for the future of their project. But, that's all down to them and how they do things. So it's good on them.
Guru, and he shows no emotion. That kid was up for the championship, 3 points away going into the final round. No emotion. I mean, he'd be a great serial killer. Like you just that no, like, where were you at last night? I was with my wife. I was eating, and then I went to bed at 9 o'clock. I mean, you're like, all right, man. I mean, he just nothing.
But that's the same as the Japanese dude that won the Masters this year.
I didn't see the match. I don't watch golf.
Oh man, come on! Like, what are you watching that's more important?
Anything but. I mean, I really do. I mean, unless Tiger's in it, and I don't really watch anyone with Tiger. It's too.
Oh, I see, Brotherhood. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
You see how it is. You see how it is. The truth comes out.
That's why I wondered if it was the same for Supercross, but because you got Malcolm in there, then you're watching it as well, right?
That's right. I only watch it when Malcolm crashes. I turn the TV off. That's how I am.
Yeah, there we go. Now
I keep it real.
I start to understand how this works. So you don't watch any swimming, huh?
Let me tell you something. I'm the black Michael Phelps. I watch swimming. I'm like, nothing else on. I'd rather watch swimming than golf. I'll tell you that much. I'd rather watch swimming than golf. I'd rather watch swimming than golf. Hold on. Before we even go there, MotoGP, who do you have for the winner? Who do you have predicting for the championship, the champion for the season? Now that Daddy's home.
I think that Mia can get this done again. That Suzuki is looking, great again this season. And it's the best all-round bike.
Yes.
I feel that Suzuki has become what Yamaha was. And, and I think that's like Yamaha was never necessarily the fastest bike in a straight line, but it was the best all-round. It was nice on tires. It was friendly to ride. It was good at most circuits, and they just got it done. And I think that the fact that they're not going away from the 2020 chassis, and they're still staying with the 2020 for this year, it gives them a lot of information and data on all those tracks. And one thing that was interesting for me, they suffered, like both riders suffered at Portimao last season, and they went really good this year. So that also means that Suzuki's really understanding from one year to the next what their problems are, and they're fixing them. And I think that is, that's interesting to see. I mean, the only thing that can stop them is the speed of the Ducati, in my opinion. I don't think it will be the Yamahas again this year. I think that the Yamahas are still a little bit too up and down. I think what would stop them is that raw speed of the Ducati, that they're just able to turn it up. With someone like Bagnaia, that I believe, if he continues the confidence, I think he's probably more risk, more of the man for the championship than Miller at this point.
Who's the most underrated rider on the MotoGP field, in that field? Who's the most underrated that you feel, because the insides and outs, and like they doesn't get the credit they deserve, and you go, this guy, when it's going to come together, he's going to be unstoppable.
Aleix Espargaro.
Really?
And I honestly feel that, and this partly is down to the fact that he has been riding the Aprilia for a number of years, so he knows it in and out. But honestly, I've not seen someone that's able to ride around the problems that the Aprilia has and just kind of find a way from no way, if that makes sense. And it wouldn't matter if you stuck Dovizioso inside that team, now for the rest of the season, and even for 2 more years afterwards. I don't feel that Dovi would get anywhere near Aleix, over the course of, the season. I think that Aleix is a bit like Simon Patterson wrote, because we've had the conversation numerous times, is, you can't argue with the facts. Aleix just manages to be better than his teammates, week in and week out. Now, the only person that had, that beat him and did anything a little bit better was Maverick when they were on the Suzuki.
Right.
But I think the Suzuki was the completely wrong bike for Aleix, and he still was quite fast with it. Aleix's riding style is very much brake late, doesn't really carry a whole bunch of corner speed. the electronics were pretty good on that thing. You had to be smooth with the throttle, etc., etc. But yeah, like if it's just down to riding a normal bike, I think he is underrated. No one realizes how well he's actually riding with that bike, and what he is able to do with that bike.
Wow, was not expecting that. That's incredible, and that's why I love talking to the pros. You guys know, and you were his teammate. I hear he's a great teammate, also.
Yeah, we didn't have any problems. Like I don't know, it's just one of those guys that kind of keeps himself to himself and just goes about his business, and turns up, does his job, and goes home. There's not really too many mind games. There's not many, there's not tension. There's not an atmosphere. He'll say hello every morning, and there'll be a bit of talk, but just kind of keeps himself to himself, does his job, and goes home. Back to family life and back to riding his bicycle, and it's just there's never any problems there.
I got to ask you this because I asked people what question they want me to ask you, and I was going to get to this, but tell me your first, when you realized you were in the big time, your first oh shit moment, I have hit the big time. Because, I ask guys all the time, and the story that comes to mind was I was asking Sean Dillon Kelly when he was in Red Bull Rookies Cup, what was his first oh shit moment? And he said when he was going as fast as he can, he's going to hit a curve, he's going to a turn, and Raul Fernandez went right by him. He goes, oh shit, this is what I got to do. This is what I got to deal with. So what was your first oh shit moment? You go, okay, I'm in a different class now.
I mean, I had quite a few, like especially in that first season, because I don't know, my story is I come from dirt bikes.
Right.
I rode dirt bikes in 2000 until mid 2004, and then I rode Spanish Championship, like road race, in 2005, and I was in World Championship in 2006. So you can imagine, like in an 18-month period, I just had this rapid kind of rise, but also.
Right.
Like just thrown in the deep end. There was pictures of me like, elbow up, pushing the bike down into the corner, and with my toes dragging on the floor, and then it's just like, okay, that's not quite how we do it, right? So
how about MotoGP? How about MotoGP? Because coming from Moto 2 to MotoGP, when did you go, oh Jesus, this is a whole different ball game?
Yeah, I think I want to say, and I don't remember the first year we went to Austin. I think the first year we went to Austin was 2013, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm thinking
but
so too.
I literally just remember, like, I went testing in Sepang, and I was like, okay, this is hard, but it's not too bad. Then you go to Qatar, and you're like, okay, that's not so bad. And then I want to say that we went to Austin, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. Like, there's no freaking way I can do this. I didn't know where to be on the track. I had way too much power. I was riding it completely wrong. I was just tying myself in knots. I was dreadfully slow. And it was like, oh boy, like, I'm not sure I can do this one. And yeah, that one was a real awakening. Or every time that you did like the winter test, so you'd go like Sepang, Qatar, and then you'd turn up at Jerez. And then you'd be like, oh yeah, I figured the bike out, like, more or less, because in Qatar it's so wide, that it doesn't really matter where you are. In Sepang it's so hot that the bike's not even fast, and then you literally turn up to Jerez, and it's like I'm at a go-kart track, with a Formula One car. I'm like, how am I gonna make this thing go round here? Like, I can't even go in a straight line, let alone try and make it around a racetrack. It's just, it's mind-boggling, which is why everyone turns around and goes, oh, why in Jerez, is it possible for a superbike to go as fast as MotoGP and this, that, and the other? It's because we've got way too much power, and the thing won't even go in a straight line anyway, so you're just fighting it the whole time. It would actually be easier if they took away 50 brake horsepower around Jerez, then would be a lot easier.
Wow. I love that insight, B. Honestly, man, I love it. God, I love talking to you, man. And like I said in the beginning, man, I see it and I feel it from you. But in your defense, like I said, man, that Aprilia is where it's at because of you, And like I said, you're saying the right things, which you should. Don't let me get you fired. Don't let a brother get you fired. But I mean, the Aprilia is where it's at because of you, and they're successful now because of you. And this is no diss to Salvador. Like I would never diss a writer like that, but they're where they're at because of you, and you're gonna get a job somewhere. Like I said, I know how it is, man. Like I said, it's like the Portimao. The career is like Portimao. It's a roller coaster, man. You're gonna get there, bro. I know you are. You're gonna be positive as always. It's just always good talking to you, man. I know you're going to pull through, and I can't wait because like I said, I still want to come to Monaco, sleep on your couch, and go to Formula One and pretend I'm Lewis Hamilton. We'll just go like real fast. Like I'll put a hat on, and act like I got braids, and you act like you're security, and we'll just go to the place real fast, and they go, hey, is that Lewis Hamilton? And I'll just go, hey, and do a wave, and we'll go through. But that's why I want to do that. And also, when you be your team principal at Suzuka 8 hours, it's going to be me, you, and James Rispoli. And we're going to get a team together, and I want to be your team principal.
There's a lot of things we need to figure out, but now I've got a whole bunch of downtime. I can actually do it. So the Suzuka project is definitely in the pipeline. I'd like to make it happen in the next 2-3 years, and find a way for us to be able to do it. It is it's not just a bullshit like talk. I really want to try and make it happen. So that'd be cool if we're able to do that. And of course, if it happens, you're always invited. And Monaco F1, man, they're setting up the track as it is at the moment, so I mean, we can't go and do anything because of COVID, but certainly if I'm here at any point and we can make it happen as well, you're more than welcome to come over. It's an experience like no other, so if you can witness it, it's a pleasure.
Well, like I said, team principal, I'm ready. Look, I got the look. I know how to. I'll put the shirt on like the and the polo shirt. And I know how to look at the times like I know what I'm doing. Look like this and okay. Right.
You just have to nod as well, like
just go like it, like okay, and go like this and go like that. And when you come in, I give you a pat and I go and I act like I know what I'm doing. Like I can pantomime everything, so I have the look. And they'll go, "Who is this guy?" And you'll be like, "Long story." And nobody really know, but we'll know. And then we win it, and I'll look like a genius, and I'll get a job at some team. And before they realize they made a mistake, hey, I already signed the contract, and they got to pay me. So that's our goal for me, you, and Rispoli.
Can we put Guru on you somewhere? Is that possible? I don't think coach or chief mechanic is like good enough. I just think good life guru.
Yeah, somebody's gonna pay me to be the life guru. That sounds good, man.
PT life guru.
Oh man, B. Thank you, man, so much for your time, brother. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. To celebrate the anniversary of Tales with you, I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. You know you got a special place in my heart. I appreciate you, brother, for coming on, telling your side of the story. Like I said, maintain positivity, man. It's coming for you, brother. I know it is, and I can't wait, man. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, B. Tell the family I said hi. Your wonderful dad and your mom, and I appreciate you, brother. And all you people, Tales from the Gym, and I thank you guys for watching for 52 episodes. Me and Wyatt, we thank you. And thank you, Bradley Smith. And until then, like I say around this time, peace.